ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be talking about the Bandai The Godzilla Collection Godzilla 1962 figure. Released in 1983 as the first figure in the Godzilla Collection line, this figure has been a huge must for me for a very long while now. A holy grail, as some would call it. This 8-inch scale figure line is what I would call the pre-peak Bandai days. They were large-scale vinyl figures, kinda weird looking, not always wholly accurate in design, cool yet sometimes very minimal paint schemes. I don't know what it was, man, but the Godzilla collection had it. And despite only lasting from 1983 to 1995, the series in and of itself left an everlasting impression on my soul as a kid. Said impression led me to loving vinyl figures as a whole, and has definitely contributed to my inability to say no to one. An alternate version of this figure was included in the 1995 released Memorial box, which featured a darker base color and smaller dorsal fins. That very same reworked version was released again in 1996 for the Godzilla Forever line, this time with just more paint. A wholly new version of 62 Goji was included in the 50th anniversary Memorial box, which, oh man, Bandai, please re-release him. He looks so cool. Holy Grail number 3, or was it 4 or 5? I don't remember. It's a major Holy Grail purchase of mine that I've been waiting to make for the longest time, but as most of you probably know, shopping for vinyl Godzilla figures on eBay can be a bit of a heartbreaking revelation. But thanks to the combined efforts of Mandarake and my good friend Corey, whom sent me a link to this listing on Mandarake, I was finally able to acquire this guy, add him into my collection, and be entirely stunned at the fact that I essentially just paid $60 for this. Thank you, Mandarake. Thank you, Corey. Let's take a closer look at this thing, shall we? I really don't know what it is about the Godzilla line stuff. It might just be nostalgia because I saw these things so many times in so many different hobby shops as a kid, but something about this line just has me crazy for it. Plus, look at these oversized dorsal fins. Look at all the amazing details on them. Oh my god, I can't even count. What am I not able to count? Bumps and craters on it. It looks that good. Yeah, we'll go with that. It just looks so fantastic. Of course, this being an older figure and buying it secondhand, possibly even third or fourth hand, the dorsal fins are a little messed up. The banged upness is a little bit more noticeable on the opposite side of the dorsal fins, but I wouldn't say that it was like sledgehammer to the cranium obvious, you know? And I just love that this silver almost looks like sugar, powdered sugar just tossed onto the figure, except it doesn't come off. Again, I don't know what it is about these dorsal fins and this paint application, but I just love it. More silver paint will be featured all the way to nearly the tip of the tail, where it kind of goes off course over here and doesn't finish the race at the tip of the tail. I guess this was always just standard practice. Then they fixed it, and then they went right back to it. And to quote Optimus Prime on a Toonami bumper for Rurouni Kenshin, "Old habits die hard." Something like that.
But old memories seldom fade.
More silver paint will be present on Goji's chest and a little bit on his neck, and just look at that detail, bro. I don't know how Bandai really handled like doing Godzilla sculpts back in the day. I imagine it was mostly with just reference material, but this looks so good. But before I blow my tea kettle just talking about the detail, more silver paint on the claws, both sides of course. More silver paint on the toes, both sides of course. White paint for the eyes and black for the pupils, and white paint yet again for the teeth. Yet another Jolly Rancher smudge of red paint for the tongue. And that's pretty much it. But moving back towards the mouth, I really love that the bottom row of teeth are all mostly individually sculpted teeth. Now, just like Heisei King Ghidorah, you can see that there are some teeth over here that aren't painted, and that seems to be a recurring element with the Godzilla collection. At least with some of them. I mean, when you take a look at Biollante, which came out around this time, she didn't even have sculpted teeth. They were just painted on her lips. But anyway, just look at this detail. Look at the tree bark skin. Look at the little dots and craters going on over here. I am a very simple man who enjoys his vinyl figures, but this is just amazing. I love this. And I just love all the deep tree bark as grooves that are all over this figure. Even on the bottom sides of the arm. I mean, even on the bottoms of the hands over here, there's some magnificent detail at play. And just look at these thunder thighs. They are magnificent. magnificent. And a little detail that I do like about this detail is just that they went the extra mile with the kneecaps. They are not the same exact detail that we got with the legs, and they didn't have to do that. But it just aids in making this figure look so awesome. Speaking of which, look at those gnarly goji knuckles. Magnificent. Speaking of magnificent, the detail on top of Godzilla's head is also quite fantastic. And even moving down his head to his neck and into the first major row of dorsal fins, there's going to be some nice detail there too. There is nice detail all along this figure, moving into the tail. Heck, even the bottom of the tail just looks awesome. Then we got some stuff on the bottom of this foot, and Bandai Japan 1983 on the bottom of the other foot, with minor detail. Now I know I have a Bandai vinyl bias, but I really can't not reward this thing with 2 solid stars for its paint and its detail. Rob, why are you awarding this thing a solid star in terms of paint? It's so spotty. But is it? Yes, it is. It very much is, but I can't not appreciate it. It's like, this is where Bandai got their major start with vinyl Godzilla figures, so saith Wikizilla. Well, actually, they really don't state that this is where Bandai got their start with Godzilla. It was just kind of the first major line that they did of Godzilla. So I'm just gonna stick with that. Like, it is just so interesting that this was the norm for vinyl Godzilla figures back in the day. This size, this amount of paint, this amount of detail, and the Godzilla collection line did really have a major glow up between 83 and 95. But I don't know, it's just something about this just feels so rewarding in a weird way. Does that make any sense to any of you? It barely even makes sense to me, but yes, I am going to be sticking with 2 solid stars in terms of paint and detail. Now let's take a look at articulation. In typical Bandai norm, we can go all the way around at the arms. Both sides, of course, yes. The tail can't make a full rotation. I don't know what it is, but it can only go a little bit to the left and not so much to the right. From its centered position, it can go a little bit to the right, but it can mostly just go to the left like so. You're not going to get too much out of the tail, and just about anybody with eyes can see that these legs will not move, but he will have shin articulation. Why? I don't know, but it's awesome that they did that. I'm never going to use it, but yeah! Granted, yes, I don't buy Bandai vinyl figures for the articulation, but every now and then I like to move the heads, the arms, the legs, the tails, just to add a little bit of flavor to it, but this is probably the one little form of articulation that I'm never going to use. Kind of looks like Tommy Pickles from Rugrats. But I do appreciate the inclusion. I do, so that's gonna be yet another solid star from me. Godzilla collection, Godzilla 1962, 3 solid stars. I absolutely love this thing. I have quite a few 62 Gojis, but this is my very first Bandai vinyl 62 Goji. And I love them. Yeah. Patrons, thank you so much for becoming ShinRobjira patrons. I absolutely appreciate it. And yet again, you guys came in clutch. Yet again, you lovely guys and gals came in clutch. As the Patreon payment came through at the exact right time, as well as my paycheck, because I work a job and everything, and I was able to snag this guy for a rather low price of $60. $60. $60. If you would like to become a patron or check out my social media or my merch page, you can check all that out in the description below. Be sure to shop with my HobbyLink Japan affiliate link. And until next time, where I'll be talking about wind up and spark bootleg Godzilla figures that kind of look like diseased chickens. Chicks. I'll see you all then and there. Peace out, everybody.